All right. Welcome to Gen X Rated Thursday edition. How we doing, Uncle Bill?
Doing pretty good. A little sad though. You always hate to see a bromance come to an end, even though you
Uh,
probably knew it was gonna.
yeah.
But yeah, that's a shame those two couldn't work it out. What a great couple they were. Great pair of
Uh,
bodies.
and I assume you're talking about President Trump and his man love crush of Musk.
Yeah, Trumpy and Muskie.
Wow.
They couldn't make it work. Who knew?
Well, it seemed like it was going to work when they were selling cars on the White House lawn. That seemed like a win-win.
Selling the Teslars, yeah. It just didn't work.
Well, I did see some of the tit for tat stuff. Musk started with the Trump didn't win the election without me. He loses without me. I don't think Trump liked hearing that so much. So he pointed out that the easiest way for them to save money on the budget would be to terminate Elon's government contracts and his subsidies. That didn't wear very well with Musk, who returned with the, hey, you know why the Epstein files aren't being released? Because Trump's all in them. Um, to which Trump just said, hey, he was wearing thin and I asked him to leave. So it's a power struggle. I don't know. The richest man in the world and the leader of the free world going at it. I mean, it's
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
get your popcorn. And I lied. I'm not upset about it. I think anybody and everybody knew that this was going to happen. It was just a matter of time, I guess. Who gets custody of Steve Bannon in this horrible breakup?
Bannon doesn't like Musk. So
I thought he was all on board with Musk for a minute there.
he was, but they all are. It's like Ron Johnson. I'm voting against it. And then, all of a sudden he's for it. It just,
Yeah, it's a really spineless bunch. But you know what? If Musk's got the receipts, it'll be interesting.
yeah. And we never like to talk too much about the election being stolen or however helped by Musk. But the numbers just don't fit. Statistically impossible that he won all 7 swing states. One example in New York district where Gillibrand ran for Senate, she got 75% of the vote, and Harris literally got 0 votes.
Yeah, I mean that's not possible.
It's
Not
crazy.
one person.
So that's going through the courts right now, and I think that's how the process is going to have to be. We talked about how Kamala was the only one that could ask for it. Everybody's pointing out that the Democrats failed here. Schumer should have done this, that, and the other. I think they were shocked, and I think there's enough people in this one party, which is the rich person party, that maybe you don't want to rock the boat. Hey, it's pretty good for me. I still have my seat. I mean, North Carolina, everybody on the down ballot went Democrat except for the top spot. I mean, these things are just, it's just, again, statistically not possible. We had the Russian bomb threats that were called in, 60 of them in Georgia, 32 of them in Pennsylvania. And these were tightly contested areas where all of a sudden, as they're offline, maybe Starlink's working their magic. Elon's being way too catty about this to like not have something behind it is my thought.
You would think, and I guess it's pretty smart on his part to have beefed up his security detail. What's he rolling? 100 deep?
Mm-hmm. You betcha. There they are when happier times. A couple of buddies.
You knew it wouldn't last. And little X, that kid's spiteful, so Trump better watch his ass because
as he grows up, he packs quite a punch too.
He packs quite a punch, and he's so small he can sneak into small spaces and get anywhere. So, yeah, better watch out there, Don.
His pops should probably watch out too. But you're absolutely right. It's going to be interesting to see, and I look forward to it because they're both kind of terrible people, and I would love nothing more than to see the orange guy taken down a peg or two.
Well, it'd just be nice to see this whole election thing brought it out into the daylight, and let's take a real look at it. I mean, Trump's still contesting the 2020 election.
Stolen election, I believe they call it.
Right. And all they did was complain, file case after case after case, and every one of them was tossed out as having no merit. I mean, you trotted out Rudy Giuliani in front of what he thought was the Four Seasons, but it was actually just a lawn care next to a sex toy shop. But I mean, it was just ridiculous. So, I guess better late than never. At least this is going to be looked into because, yeah, there were enough people that knew what they were talking about that tried to, you know, alert the Democrats like, hey, look, statistically, this does not add up. This is an anomaly. This does not happen.
Well, we know
So,
Kamala was in complete shock.
well, I think we all were.
Nobody
But
could really believe it. And the way that they did it again was so strategic in that, you know, who's going to believe that? Oh, through satellite and Musk's Starlink. But, you know,
it's
that's
all
where we
pretty
are today.
plausible, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, I always use a paper ballot, and I'd love the hand recount. We could have asked for it. Now it's going to go through the legal process. It'll start in New York State, and it will not be the last place.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
We'll see what happens. I'm going to put this guy up because this is the kind of danger that we live in with Trump. This is our new Department of Homeland Security terrorism prevention czar, and we can call him that. It's Thomas Fugate. He's 22 years old. Let me show a cooler picture of Thomas doing his thing right there.
It's completely different.
Huge Trump fan. Well, you know, you don't want to look too Hispanic in this administration.
A little bit like Young Rock.
Oh, you're giving him a lot of credit. He graduated from University of Texas, San Antonio. He started his own LLC cutting grass. That was like 5 years ago, so that would have put him at 17. Then he worked in a grocery store in 2023. He was associated with Trump. He did the advance campaign scouting. He was a member of the advance team in 2024. The key to how he got into this position, which he has no experience for whatsoever, zero. He interned at a foundation. You want to take a guess at the foundation?
Huh. Maybe the Heritage Foundation.
Yes, the Heritage Foundation. So he's a Project 2025 guy. He's now going to be in charge of looking out for, like I said, domestic terrorism and hate crimes, etc. I don't know that he'll be digging too deep, but we'll see. The whole idea is to combat terrorism and hate-fueled violence. If you like hate-fueled violence, you're probably going to turn your head and look away.
Wow. Yeah. Shocking, but not surprising.
I know, it's insane. He's 22 years old. In comparison, you know, Big Balls with Elon gone is now officially a full-time government employee, and he's one of the highest paid possible salaries that they can offer is given to this kid.
Does his KGB grandfather get a cut of that?
Big Balls. He doesn't need it. Plenty of money. For now, anyway. But you never know. Stay off the 11th floor. You don't want to be falling out a window.
Yeah, the corruption is just so rampant and so in your face. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's pretty crazy that you would say that too, because I mean, he just keeps pardoning people. And as we talked about the other day, once you pardon somebody, any judgment against them stops. So the guy whose mother gave Trump for that dinner $1 million donation, her son gets fully pardoned, even though he ripped off Medicaid, Medicare, and his patients. The $4 million he was supposed to pay back goes away. So to me, that's a smart investment. You invested $1 million and you saved $4 million.
Yeah, that's insane. But what about, are there state level charges that can be leveled?
He got a complete pardon. So in this instance, no. For that guy ripping off Medicare, no.
Unbelievable.
And we've seen that before. How many times did Ron Johnson in Wisconsin take the fifth when they were asking him about his Medicare fraud?
Well, same with Rick Scott, who's now a senator.
Yes, Senator Rick Scott. 26
creepy looking
times.
guy.
Yeah. So just as an example, there was a couple from Miami, co-owners of the American Therapeutic Corporation. They were sentenced to 50 years. His wife was sentenced to 35 years in prison for defrauding Medicare to the tune of $205 million. They made $87 million. He commuted both of their sentences on May 28th, less than a week ago. Republicans are pushing for massive Medicaid cuts, claiming they're protecting it from waste, fraud, and abuse. These are the kind of people they're letting off that are causing this fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Idea was for Elon to find these people and send them to prison, not release them back into the wild to make more fraud and abuse cases.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's stupefying.
It is. I don't know. It's
And
mind blowing
it's so in your face. It's just a big F you to anybody in this country who believes in any kind of justice. You
for
know,
sure.
ridiculous.
All about the Munsies
Hmm.
with these guys. So
As
we'll
long
see.
as Trump gets his taste.
That's right, and he always does. He always does. That's just the way it works. And we're not really being told everything. I did see a comment today that the information that we get that used to be the gold standard, people are starting to now question our government numbers that are being released, things about inflation and costs, because
Hmm.
you say what you think is going to get you elected or stay in office, I guess, but most of it seems to be fallacies. They talk about how strong the job market is. We had 247,000 people filed for unemployment. Um, uh, it's a lot more people than they expected to have.
Oh, well,
Um,
yeah, that's what you get when you go around clearing out the whole class of government workers. Not to mention, Procter and Gamble is going to be announcing 7,000 layoffs because of tariffs.
in the next 2 years, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Private employees added 37,000 jobs. It's the slowest growth in 2 years. The expected number was $110,000 or 110,000 jobs. This was 37. That didn't work out great. The ports in LA, which I'm going to put up now, account for 40% of our imports. They've been dry for weeks.
Wow.
And then, if you tune into CNN or your favorite news source, Fox, whatever it may be, they're going to tell you the shelves are full. And what are you
For
worried about?
now. Yeah, for now.
You're just, a conspiracy person, whatever you want to say. But with these ports being dry, you're losing dock workers, truck drivers are losing their jobs. Thankfully, you still have products on the shelves. The rule is that non-perishables, typically you have 3 months of inventory in your warehouse.
Hmm.
Since Trump threatened these tariffs, they stocked up on to make sure they would have before these things would kick in. They didn't know about Taco Don at that point. But the real reality is, if you watch, it's going to be the things that come in fall generally. So the 3 months of inventory now, I saw today, and this plays to this because Amazon's advertising back to school stuff now.
Hmm.
Some kids aren't even out of school. Like, why in the world would
Yeah.
I be worried about back to school stuff in fall unless some of this was actually true? You're going to start seeing the shortages come fall, and it's going to be fall fashion, which is important to you and I.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
all kinds of equipment, whether it's sporting or outdoor equipment, rakes, all the stuff that would be arriving in November is when we're going to start to see that you're going to have needs for it, and they're not necessarily going to be there.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. And it's all self-inflicted.
pretty much we've
You
made
know,
these choices.
you can't blame a pandemic. You can't blame a natural disaster. It's all self-inflicted.
Well, and to your
And
point with the employees, one example like NOAA, which I'm a huge fan of, every dollar invested into the National Weather Service produces $73 in value to Americans. I don't know if you saw the video of the weatherman on TikTok. It was on X as well, but just saying that he was able to help a lot of his viewers when they had state of the art equipment to be able to predict weather a little bit better. Now that they're limiting weather balloons, now that they're cutting staff, he told his viewers straight up, and I don't know how long he'll be working now, but he can't make those guarantees. He doesn't have the confidence that he once had because they're cutting those departments quite a bit.
yeah,
It's not a lot of money. These guys paid, the Trump administration paid $2 million to some celebrity lawyer who they didn't mention, but just to investigate the DEI in case that was part of the crash at Reagan. $2
yeah,
million.
yeah, it's ridiculous. 92 million for a stupid parade for Trump's birthday.
Yeah. And it's going to be more than that. I mean, those roads that they're going to tear up is just going to be, I mean, they scheduled 16 million for that, but come on, man.
Yeah,
16 million plus the road closure, plus the machinery that has to go out there. It's a nightmare. For
it's a
what?
nightmare, and it's just stupid. It's un-American. This isn't North Korea. This isn't Russia.
Exactly.
But Big Don has to show off his missiles. I've got the biggest missile of them all. I mean, Jesus, man. How insecure are you? We all know you have a micro penis. Stormy Daniels told us.
Hugely, yes. Lastly, on that economic part, John Deere is freezing all their manufacturing of farm equipment in the States. They're moving their Iowa plant down to Mexico.
Well, and the U.S. auto industry, thanks to Trump's new steel tariffs, they're looking into producing their products overseas in China.
Why not? Right?
Yeah, so much winning. He's really owning China.
Yeah. China's doing great. And just
And
to touch
again,
on,
this is all
go ahead.
self-inflicted at the whims of Taco Don.
You're absolutely right about that. But he seems to like the chaos, like somebody else I know.
Oh, he never was there.
We'll just breeze over the travel ban that came out. 12 countries. We're going back to the travel ban. I'll name a few: Afghanistan, Chad, Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Myanmar, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. Are we getting a picture of who we don't want coming in?
It's pretty loud and clear, yeah.
The interesting thing is he is making exemptions for World Cup and Olympic athletes.
Yeah, but don't stay too long. The minute you're eliminated, get out.
And they are seriously considering not coming here.
I don't blame them. I seriously don't. I mean, if you're a fan and you're coming from overseas, and there's even a possibility that they're going to look through your social media, take your phone, detain you. Why? Why would you come?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. It's ludicrous.
It is pretty insane. I know Iran was super excited, the Iranian people, to see their soccer team. They won't be playing here, obviously. And it's just a shame. I thought we were way beyond that stuff, but clearly not.
No, these people are dragging us backwards at warp speed.
I wanted to put this up. This is in Missouri. We had a special session in the Missouri House. Actually, it was in the Senate. Governor Mike Kehoe called it out. They okayed $1.5 billion for football and baseball stadiums.
In Kansas City, eh?
Correct. We don't want to lose them. Keep in mind, Kansas City can still opt out. This is just to kind of sweeten it. You're basically gifting, subsidies and donating to a private business. Maybe
the
it'll
Hunt
work.
family's not hurting. They could write a check for a new stadium if they wanted to.
Absolutely. But they're Trumpers, so they wanted something for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to get this passed 19-13 in the Senate of Missouri State Senate. They were able to pass it 19-13 because 2 days ago, due to the storms in St. Louis, which FEMA, the government is not giving money to, they gave money in St. Louis to the March 14th and 15th storms, but not to the most recent tornadoes. The Rams, when they left, there was money that was given to the state. Of that money, the government was going to give $25 million to help with aid. In order to get this vote passed, the Republicans had to give the Democrats another $75 million. So now $100 million is going to go to the St. Louis Relief Fund, which is great. The downside is they got the Democrats' vote. This did pass. The House GOP majority will pass this on Monday. So it's going to be a thing for us now. I don't know how you feel about that. You look at these pretty stadiums, and then you look what these people are dealing with. These are the homes. I talked to several people. You're living there. You don't want your stuff disappearing. So you may not have a front wall, but this is where you're sleeping. This is your property. This is you taking care of yourself.
Yeah, well, and I mean, we had a storm pop up and roll through yesterday where the sirens went off again.
It was a little too soon. It was freaky.
Torrential downpour, high winds. And imagine you're living in a house with no front wall or no roof. All your stuff is getting soaking wet. You've got no place to go. You don't even have a place to go and shower off to clean up. It's obscene. That's the only word that I can think of. It's obscene when money is going to fix up already state of the art, stadiums for wealthy owners. It's obscene. Our priorities are so out of whack. But at least it's coming from the Rams money.
Yeah, I agree. Which
So
could have
there
gone,
is that.
which could have been pissed away in many other areas. So at least it's
Hmm.
going to something good. I was going to jump to Trump and his some of his recent policies here. I better put him up just so you know who I'm talking about. Trumpy bear.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. So the Trump administration has rescinded federal guidelines and guidance that required ER to provide an abortion if the procedure would save the patient's life. We're not doing that anymore. In the same breath, you have Louisiana for the third year in a row voted to force a 9-year-old to give birth to a baby after they were raped. This is a 9-year-old.
Jesus.
And then you have the representative Patricia Moore saying things like, God will turn a bad situation into something good. We're talking about a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I don't see how that's going to work out well for a 9-year-old, honestly, but God provides.
I don't even know how they could do it, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you're not built for that. That's not a thing. That shouldn't even be on your radar, and obviously it isn't. But my point is that they're forcing her to do it. So,
Well, clearly she was impregnated by somebody who's old enough to actually produce sperm. So that's another question. Was it daddy? Was it mommy's
well,
boyfriend? Was it
they
some
just said
random
that
guy she met online?
they just said she was raped. So I think you'd have more compassion, and you'd want that to be not more trauma to deal with
Yeah,
for a
you would think these
9-year-old.
people don't give a shit. It's a cult. It's a cult of the fetus. Well, that collection of cells is a person, and it's holy and must be protected. Now, once it's out, we don't give a shit. You're on your own, kid.
I mean, I just can't even relate to that. Continuing on, the U.S. immigration officers were ordered to arrest more people. Stephen Miller doesn't care if you have a warrant or not. Get these people up and out. We need a show.
Yeah, Stephen Miller's a sick motherfucker.
He
Pardon
really
my
is.
language, but
No,
he
you're
is
absolutely right.
he's a Nazi through and through.
He likes the direction we're going in. Nobody else does. You made that point about cars in China. I just wanted to pop up the steel industry because we had talked about a couple of the steelers that showed up at that rally.
Mhm.
Um, Prices are, with this 50% tariff, everything's going to be more expensive, from homes to cars to household items to office
Yeah,
supplies. So you're looking at sports equipment, you're looking at beer and soda cans, you're looking at canned goods, household appliances, um,
everything.
pretty much everything. So he thinks he's sticking it to Canada, but the fact of the
Yeah.
matter is that Canada's bringing in companies that are going to make their own cans up in Canada.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing. If demand starts to slow down, workers tend to get laid off,
For sure. Yeah,
you
you're
know,
absolutely right.
and
Go ahead.
it's just interesting. I talked to our aunt in Atlanta. She's 83. She was upset about the Steelers. What are they doing up there with Trump? Why is Mason Rudolph Trump's best friend?
Mm-mm. He's not.
No,
Maybe
yeah,
Killebrew. He gave him the hug.
yeah, that guy really sucked up. I hope somebody in the locker room gave it to him good. Like, really? I
They
mean, I
were.
remember one time when Dan Reeves was the head coach in Atlanta, his first year there, we had a game coming up with the Broncos, and one of the backup linebackers, who shall remain nameless, nice enough guy, um, not a stud player, kind of hanging on. Reeves was going around the room asking, why do you want to win? And he's like, I want to win this one for you, coach. They did you wrong in Denver. And Jesse Tuggle, one of the leaders of the defense, looked at him and was like, really?
Pathetic.
Yeah. So I hope he got the Jesse Tuggle treatment. Really, dude? You're gonna bro hug that guy and call him an honorary Steeler?
It was pretty awful.
It's pathetic, but it's bad when our 83-year-old aunt in Atlanta notices. So
She's a
yeah.
big she's a big Steeler fan,
Hmm.
and rightfully so. Just to stop on the cruelty part, and Canada's tied into this too. Trump has opened up half of our national forests for logging, which may affect my happy ending at the end, but we will see. Again, nobody's got harder wood than Canada, buddy. I know you're jealous, but I'm just saying.
It's unbelievable. And, you know, hopefully that'll be challenged and have to go through the courts, and we can maybe slow walk that a bit.
It'd be nice, but we'll see. We'll see what's next on Trump's agenda. We're not going to go to him yet, or this dum-dum. I was going to talk about Voice of America real quick. Carrie Lake is in charge, as we all know. We've talked about this for several weeks, how they're cutting staff, how they're making everything terrible again. And now they've just come out with some final plans. It did start with 1,300 employees with 24/7 news cycle, Voice of America.
Mm-hmm.
Their mission is to provide news and information in repressive media environments around the world. Just trying to give our slant to things. Some, you know, I know that our local stats now maybe are a little slanted because of who's in charge, but this was consistent. This is something that's been around for a long time, and it's something that people actually trusted. They want to get this down to 80 employees. So it used to be 49 languages. Now we're down to 4 languages. It used to be 1,300 employees, and they just keep cutting them away. So they've abandoned major world regions where China and Russia have massive media operations, which seems like something you wouldn't want to do, especially, well, maybe Russia. We do love them.
Mm-hmm.
But it covers like Africa, Latin America, Russia, Eurasia, Southeast Asia. We're not getting our voice out. She's basically trimmed it down to 5 days a week, 5 minutes of a blurb, 5 minutes a day, 5 times a week. So that staff is down to 18. The whole media agency, when she's done, will be down to 81 people left after it started with 1,300 people. So
Wow.
Very disheartening. Again, these things will go through the courts. The people that they did bring back out of necessity hate their job. So thanks for ruining a really good thing, Carrie Lake.
Well,
Election denier extraordinaire.
Yeah, she's terrible. But it's all part of us withdrawing from, you know, the world community. Right? I mean, that was a real projection of American soft power.
Yeah.
And we're walking away from it, you know, along with US aid, all of our alliances. I mean, This is just ridiculous. We're withdrawing from the world. I mean, we're just going backwards.
And you can't. Orange Dummy thinks we have everything we need right here. We don't. No. I don't want to use all my national resources to, you know, for construction or whatever and have nothing left. It makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense. I mean, he wants to cut down the redwoods, for God's sake.
Oh my God. Don't even go there.
I mean, this guy thinks it's the 1950s. He is completely out to lunch.
Well, you just mentioned lunch, so I'm going to jump to another topic that I found to be somewhat rough. It's our food supply, so to speak. I'm going to put this up. This was the first one I saw today. Looks like some yummy meat. They're pulling all this ground meat that's pre-packaged for possible E. coli. It was distributed. Whole Foods as part of that. It's organic rancher, organic ground meat. It's 85 lean, 15% fat, and it was packaged on the 22nd and 23rd. The reason why I'm being so specific is because if you have it, get rid of it.
Wow.
Throw it away. Here's some symptoms that can happen. Make that bigger for you. But if you have any of these, watery diarrhea, sometimes bloody, low fever, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, stomach pains, and fatigue, you may have been sickened.
Wow.
Yeah. I point that out because I'm going to jump to this one. Whoops. I'm sure you've heard about the tomato alert. They're recalling, and the FDA has put the highest risk warning. It's a class 1 right now. So be careful with your tomatoes. Again, I'll put up some symptoms that you might have if you ate some bad tomatoes with salmonella. Wow. Class 1 simply means it's a reasonable probability the product will cause serious adverse health effects, consequences, or death. Kind of serious. I'm not trying to minimize this by any means. I'm terrified of our food supply and the lack of care for keeping things to a certain standard, so to speak.
Well, is there any way to check and see if your tomatoes are indeed affected?
Not that I know of. I don't think there's any kind of poke test or anything.
Wow. But
You're
they didn't say
counting.
like where they came from, what brand they were
Oh,
sold under?
tomato recall. I'm sure it's listed on the website for the FDA. I know the CDC is not necessarily covering any of that. The risk is to, children 5 and younger, and older Americans would be the issue, older adults. 4 to 7 days later, you could be sick. So, yeah, they're taking those off the shelves. The deadly bacteria, yeah. And the risks. All this while the FDA is cutting a lot of jobs. The interesting, well, not interesting, but the funny part to this is I'm going to put up, this is Trump's golf club. It's the Bedminster Golf Club in New Jersey. His
Isn't that
golf
where his
club,
ex-wife is buried?
yes, you'll never find her. It's a little overgrown where she is, so don't bother looking. 18 health violations. They had the worst score in the country at his golf club. I read through many comments. His supporters say, oh, what, they didn't have a wash your hands sign or something? Come on. You're just going after our fearless leader. But they had expired milk. They had raw meat that was stored improperly. They had dishwashers that weren't reaching the required temperature to kill germs. They had sinks without soap and paper towels. Maybe there was a couple signs that weren't part of it, but it's kind of a big deal. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
those guys that are saying it's minimal aren't allowed at his golf course. So
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it because you're not allowed in anyway. So
exactly.
yeah, good on you.
Yeah,
Didn't Mar-a-Lago have some health violations not
I'm
that long ago
sure.
as well?
Yes. How could they not? It's just disgusting. But
It is disgusting. I guarantee you Trump doesn't eat there.
just Big Macs, baby.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with all these cuts, and we do it again, and not to just beat down on these on the lousy information we get, but everybody's trying to support Trump by saying, "Hey, this big beautiful bill, don't worry about it. Don't worry about these cuts to Medicare. People get health care through their jobs," which we also don't like. We don't like the fact that it has to be tied to your job. I think that's kind of puts you in a spot that maybe you don't want to be in. But the reality is, and I checked several different sources, and I'm going to give 2 separate numbers. James Lanford, he's a Republican in Oklahoma, thinks that this is just transitioning from Medicare to an employee-provided health care. So he's saying, we're going to get you off Medicaid, and we're going to put you onto your employees' health care.
If you're already an employee, chances are you already have employer health care, unless you work for Walmart or a company that doesn't really provide much in the way of health benefits. And then, yeah, you do. There's a huge percentage of Walmart employees that are actually on Medicaid because they're not making enough money to support themselves. And Walmart's offering, even if they're offering a plan, it's shit.
Yeah.
Unless you're an executive. So yeah, these people are so full of shit. They really and they think people are dumb.
And that's the scariest part. 46% offer no health care. 54% offer some health care. Now, if you go to the bigger picture, 48% of private businesses don't provide health care at all. So that's half the jobs out there. You won't get health care. 44% of small businesses don't offer health care. I mean, I'm not blaming the business owners. I'm just saying the reality is you're not going to get it through your job. So
yeah, no, if you work for a company with less than 20 employees, they do not have to offer you any kind of health care.
For sure. And even if they're bigger, they don't necessarily have to. So it's, again, this big, beautiful bill. They're just out doing the circuit and kind of lying about it and hoping. I know this is going to pass in the middle of the night. There's so many stipulations in there that they're finally talking about that's not going to make Trump a king, or it might if it goes through. But basically, 40% of the country loses money on this new budget. 15 million people lose health care. The richest families get $270,000 tax cut. And our debt goes up to 2.4 trillion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, again, keep calling your senators.
And that was the advice. Keep calling. They are hearing, so we just got to keep calling.
Yeah, just keep it up. Keep the pressure up.
We got to do it. On the immigration note, I just want to say that Kristi Noem was under oath. She was pushed to to answer questions about the masked marauders that are going out into your local community and rounding people up, whether it was your lady at the breakfast place in Missouri, or they waited for that Italian restaurant to open up in the afternoon, and they handcuffed everybody in there. They took away a couple of dishwasher people and a couple of servers. So you can feel safe about that now because they're gone. They won't be coming back. But the interesting part was they really held her to this standard with these masked people. Who are they? Why do they not have identification? Why do they not have to identify themselves who they are? The answer when she was push came to shove about the masking was, you have a lot of the January 6th rioters are now serving in ICE. That does include those that assaulted police officers.
Oh, they're probably the highest paid ones.
Now, Homeland Security, I forget who the gentleman was by name, but he came out and said, these people at ICE have received so many death threats to them and their family that of course we're going to conceal our identity because.
Dude, just lie after lie after lie.
And it sticks in my craw because you kept saying home of the brave, land of the free, home of the brave. And it's just, we sound kind of just like wimps, so to speak.
Yeah, it's true. There's nothing brave about capitulating to this and being afraid of everybody who looks different or comes from a different place. It's just, it's pathetic. It really is. It's just pitiful. And, the fact that you've got people who now should be, by all rights, still be in jail, who are now out on the streets getting paid to round up people. I mean, it's a dream job for some of these people, and it's pathetic. And now what they're doing is they're issuing warrants for young people, children and teens, to come in for a routine immigration hearing. And when their parent or guardian accompanies them, they take them away.
They're arrested.
Kids are left alone.
Yeah, go ahead. There's a 10-year-old in custody right now that's all by himself. 10.
Yeah. How cruel is that? I mean, that's like Soviet Russia, Nazi Germany bullshit.
And scary as fuck.
It's fucking scary as fuck. Yeah, you want to be afraid of something. Be afraid of the people that claim to be keeping you safe.
Yeah, that was really rough. It's going to get worse. I'm going to put this up here. Was a memorandum from May 29th that came out. New merit hiring plan, which merit sounds really good. We talk about that all the time because we hate DEI for some reason. We're not even going to talk about that because it's ridiculous. But merit is based on proven skills, knowledge, and your ability to do your job. Shit, that makes perfect sense.
Is that another term for white Christian male?
Maybe. I didn't look at it that way, but you're probably right. I only want to say that there's a weird stipulation that's going along with this. All federal employees now, based on this merit, which doesn't seem to jive with what I'm about to say, but they're required to submit essays praising Trump's policies and pledging to advance his goals.
Jesus.
So you have 4 200-word essays about your work ethic, about your skills, your work experiences, and lastly, your plans to advance the president's executive orders and policy promises.
Wow.
Then you might get the job. Now that just sounds like you're hiring, people from a cult, so to speak.
Yeah, people from a cult. That sounds, it's like something straight out of North Korea. Praise the dear leader.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
It is literally crazy.
People are pushing back. They find that extremely off-putting, and how could you not?
Mm-hmm.
Extremely un-American, I might add too, because you have to sign a pledge to the dear leader. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, that's not what merit-based means.
Yeah, not at all. So that's next up on the Trumpy plan, is to fill the federal government with a bunch of people that only yield to him and believe in his crazy policies and have enough hate in their heart to actually do them. So
unbelievable.
We shall see. To get off some of that, I want to go to your. This isn't happy news, but it is news. You probably remember this guy. We've been talking about him for a couple weeks now. The Aaron Rodgers. It's official. Whoops, where'd he go?
Our long national nightmare has come to an end, eh?
Yes. So it's official. He is coming to Pittsburgh. He will compete against Mason Rudolph and the rookie quarterback for a starting job.
Well, this will be interesting.
What do you think about that?
I think the guy's 42 years old.
Yes.
I think he is a guy that if he was really interested in signing, this would have been done months ago. He would have had the playbook. He would have come in for some of these mini camp events. Even if he was dealing with a family issue, he said he's dealing with people with cancer. That's fine. You don't have to be here every day, but why didn't you sign earlier then? And, have an agreement like, hey, look, if these things I've got going on in my personal life take over, I can get out of this contract. No problem. But yeah, doesn't seem like he's all in. It doesn't seem very Steeler-like. You would think he'd want to be in there and get to know some of these guys and, get with the offensive coordinator and get some time in with your teammates.
Well, he's coming for mini camp next week. He'll be in for mini camp.
That's great, but he could have really gotten a running start. So we'll see. I mean, on the one hand, he's a very high level quarterback, maybe a Hall of Famer. So yeah, we'll see. It just seems like it's getting off kind of on the wrong foot. It seems kind of un-Steeler-like, but again, they've kind of painted themselves into a corner. They're dead set on never giving Rudolph a chance.
He's going to get a chance. I don't know that he can stay healthy regardless. You need a better quarterback room. Does he make your quarterback room better? Yes. Is he kind of a weirdo? Yes. Was part of the hang up that Pittsburgh didn't embrace him from the get-go. If you don't think he wasn't hearing that kind of stuff, I think that factored into it too, whether he was going to jump on board right away. I mean, he's a strange dude.
He is a strange dude.
He's already got the money, so he doesn't have to bow down to anybody. And in our society right now, it's all about the money. So he's going to do what he wants. The proof is going to be if he can sell in that locker room. And to your comment about preparation and getting in there early, Minka was at OTAs.
Yeah.
Minka's a stud. He's a proven stud and has been. And he said, it's really hard to get into the flow and to get the mindset when you're in, California or Houston or wherever. He was at camp. Hayward was at OTAs. It's the kind of person and player you are, and maybe quarterbacks are different or something.
I don't know. I mean, it's the ultimate team game, and the sooner you can get everybody on the same page and, and not only get to know these guys, but let these guys get to know you.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Personality is a big issue. I mean, dude, we saw with Jeff George, that guy had $1 million arm. He had all the talent in the world, but as a leader, he was not the leader that Bobby Hebert was. Let's just say that. Jeff, wasn't the devil, not a bad guy, good quarterback, but could have been so much better.
Yeah. And maybe winning will solve that. Maybe he'll be better in a Steeler locker room. It's kind of like when Wilson came to town. We were pretty concerned about him too. He's a giant phony. It's really hard to, he seems like a really nice guy. I'm not saying he's the devil, but it's really toxic positivity. Yeah. It's not great. And it doesn't flow that well in any locker room, let alone one with such a long-standing tradition. So maybe Rodgers going into New York, it was a difficult situation. That team stunk. Maybe it'll be like Wilson coming in, where he respects the culture, he respects the organization's tradition, and he doesn't have to be that guy. He just has to do his job and not be a dick.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he demands to wear number 12.
That can't happen. Bradshaw would never let it happen.
Yeah, and Mike T shouldn't let it happen.
And this would be a great year to retire Bradshaw's number for the record.
Yeah, it would.
Can't put another number 12 in that. It'd be like, giving away Big Ben's number. Stop.
Yeah. And, the Russell Wilson experiment looked great until it didn't. Mike Tomlin was excited and happy to get up there and take full credit for it and declare that's why I get paid so much. But when shit went to hell and that guy looked worse week after week after week, he was still in there. So it'll be interesting. But, if he can help him win, hey, that'd be great.
Yeah, and we always talk about you really don't know what's happening unless you're in that locker room. I'm with you. I think the change should have been made. I do think that after that, I thought it was the Baltimore game, that they brought in Fields. He hurt his adductor muscle or something on his core. He couldn't play, and that would have been the week to sit down Wilson. You had every reason to do it. He was playing so poorly at that time, but
Oh my God, yeah.
he didn't have
I mean,
anybody to step in. And then you wait a couple weeks. What's the point at that point? I mean, they just weren't a contender.
I mean, I'll never forget him running for a touchdown against the Ravens. And instead of either sliding or cutting outside and going into the end zone, he cuts inside, fumbles. Baltimore recovers it, and they go 95 yards and score. And that game was pretty much over.
Yeah. Didn't he also throw was it a pick six or just a pick?
Yeah, right after Minka intercepted a ball to stop a drive, Russell Wilson turned around and said, "Hey, hold my beer, watch this." And he threw a pick six. I mean, it was just, the guy's terrible.
Yeah. Well,
good luck in New York with the Giants.
And I hope with Rodgers that it does give you a better quarterback room. I'm a Mason Rudolph fan. I know we've had conversations locally with friends that they just think he's a career backup. He can't be your guy, but we'll see. Maybe he can be. Fitzpatrick got better with age. He wasn't great here and with the Rams, but he started at 8 other places after.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
So it'll be interesting, but I guess I'd rather see Rodgers rather than Kirk Cousins. So there is that.
Yes, please. He's got a
That
great
was going to be the fallback.
Yeah, and then you got to earn the job. So we'll see. Maybe we'll see if he can pick up the offense and how he looks. I don't know.
Well, I just know that he he works very closely with his wide receivers. He's got a really elaborate sense of system of hand signals and what he wants to do, and everybody needs to be on the same page. So, and you've got a pretty young receiving core there. So,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. But if he can make it work and fit in, that'd be great.
I would just love to see those balls come out high. I mean, Wilson didn't throw over the middle at all.
No,
they have the type of players that you can throw over the top. I know he has his moon ball, as they call it. You can't be carding that out all the time. And there's no respect if you can't hit the middle of the field.
Yeah. Well, and the defense knows. I mean, they pick up on things pretty quick in the NFL, and they know when you won't throw over the middle. So it just makes their job a lot easier.
Whether by design or not. Yeah, absolutely right. So we'll see. I'm glad the saga's over. Bring him to town, see what you get. Maybe you're better with him than without, and at least you have a bulked up quarterback room as opposed to hoping Mason stays upright.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll keep an open mind and hope for the best.
All right, I like the idea. Again, I'm just glad it's done with.
Yeah, it was getting old.
It really was, and it made everybody look like garbage. But listen,
really good.
The powers that be don't really care. Art Rooney II did come out and say how the culture's been getting chipped away. So, I'm not saying Rodgers fixes that, but the first way to fix something is to recognize you have a problem. So I'm hoping that's the case.
Yeah, well, and winning, cures a lot of things too. So we'll see. But
absolutely,
either way, they still have the third best.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And we'll see what the Browns end up, whether it's going to be Flacco. I heard Pickett was disastrous on 11-on-11. And again, they loved Prime's kid, Shador. They thought he's been having a great OTA. Super. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. OTA champs.
That's right. So typical Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to jump to my happy ending, and I'll give you a chance with your happy ending today. Sorry to cut you off the other day, but
yeah, that's okay.
We were moving in a hurry, and it was your big day.
It was.
We talked about this happy ending several days ago. I'm going to put this picture up here. This is from 3 days ago, and we had talked about Jackie and Shadow. They had eaglets. There were 3 eagles at Big Bear Lake in California, and it's when I checked in with you today, there were 68,000 people watching the YouTube channel. I go there just for some peace of mind. I think it's kind of neat. Those bald eagles are incredibly cool. Anyway, they had 2 eaglets. Well, they had 3, but at the very beginning, one of the eaglets passed. That's nature for you. But they had Sunny and Gizmo. We talked about this at the end. We weren't sure. We knew one was a female because she was kind of pushy and food oriented. That's what the experts said. It wasn't anything that I'm chiming in about.
Okay, yeah, good to clarify that.
Yes, please. I don't want any trouble. But both eaglets are females, and this was Sunny. Sunny took flight. Sunny left the nest.
Oh, that's awesome.
So a lot of people were concerned. There are two angles on this YouTube, two different channels. They had spotted Sunny. Sometimes they come back to the nest. Sometimes they don't. I find it entertaining because everybody's talking about Gizmo. They're like, it's okay. You have time. You don't have to be the first out of the nest.
Yeah,
it's perfectly normal. 10 to 14 weeks. It's like the kid's 3 and he's not walking. Little different story.
Well,
but
yeah.
Point being, let's not shame poor Gizmo. But Sunny did take flight, and it's just been a cool process to watch. And it kind of, nature's incredible.
That's awesome.
So that was my happy ending. I'll be even happier if Sunny comes back to visit. Maybe bring something back to the parents for a change, but we'll see.
That would be nice. Let's hope so.
Yeah. So, all right, Uncle Bill, you're past your birthday. So what's your happy ending today?
Well, I'm still basking in the afterglow of the nice birthday celebration we had.
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really nice, and really that was the best gift I ever could have had, having the chance to celebrate a big birthday with the people that I love. So,
well,
yeah.
It's well deserved. Obviously happy to be a part of it as well, and wish you many more. So
let's hope so. We'll see.
Knock on wood without getting my dog to bark. But anyway, that was a ton of information today. Again, not all of it great, but I think it's pretty informative. I'm hoping that people are kind of catching on to the haves and have-nots. We're going to get more information on June 14th is No King's Day. There's going to be rallies all over the country. Just sharing the fact that, hey, I don't have to like you on 100% of the items, but both of us can agree we don't want a king.
Especially that one.
So something to get some information, and we'll continue to try and give some feedback as to where it's going to be exactly in our town minimum. But it is a nationwide thing, and I think people are starting to wake up to I'm losing my health care, I've lost my job, FEMA's not coming, the laundry list. And then we get to see the orange guy just say the same thing. He was talking about egg prices again today. I mean, please stop it. Stop. Wasn't my problem. This war is not my problem. It's all of our problems. So let's try and get this together.
Yeah, and again, keep up the pressure on your senators and make those calls.
Absolutely, call, email, pound on their door, whatever it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we're happy for any kind of feedback. Subscribe, comment. Let us know what you're thinking, because we're not having the happiest thoughts right now.
Yeah, but we're trying.
We're doing our best. Absolutely.
Hence the happy ending.
That's right. All right, Billy. Well, it's Thursday. Maybe I'll get to see you Friday on a Thursday type of thing.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, depending if you're going to the gym, but that's how you get in the shape you're in, buddy. It's amazing. Guy couldn't even guess your age. He was a decade off. I mean, that's quite a compliment.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's part of the happy ending too, so we'll take it.
No, he wasn't wearing glasses.
No, I think he was.
Geez. All right, never mind. All right, Billy.
Well, he was, so he could see sharply. They were corrective lenses.
That's right. All right. Well, always a pleasure, and I'll catch up with you later.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. Great job.
You too. Talk to you soon.